The Boeing 737 MAX was supposed to be the crown jewel of Boeing's short-haul fleet. Marketed as a modern, efficient successor to one of the most successful aircraft families in history, it promised lower fuel costs, advanced technology, and a seamless transition for airlines already operating earlier 737s. Instead, it became a symbol of crisis. Two tragic crashes, a global grounding, and billions in losses turned the MAX from Boeing's great hope into its greatest scandal. For many, the jet raised a chilling question. Had Boeing's pursuit of profit compromised safety? To understand how the 737 MAX nearly destroyed Boeing, we must travel back decades to the origins of the 737 itself and the decisions that set the stage for disaster. The original Boeing 737 first flew in 1967. Small, simple, and efficient, it quickly became the backbone of global aviation. Over the decades, Boeing refined the design into new generations. The Classic, the Next Generation, and finally the MAX. By the early 2000s, the 737 was the world's best-selling jetliner, flying for nearly every major airline. Its success was so immense that Boeing saw no need to build an entirely new single-aisle aircraft. Instead, they repeatedly upgraded the same basic airframe, stretching and modernizing it while keeping costs low for both the company and its customers. But this strategy would soon face a challenge from across the Atlantic. In 2010, Airbus launched the A320neo, a re-engined version of its successful A320 family. The Neo offered up to 15% better fuel efficiency, largely thanks to new generation engines. Airlines loved it, and within months, Airbus had hundreds of orders. Boeing suddenly faced a crisis. If they didn't respond quickly, the A320neo threatened to steal the single-aisle market entirely. Developing a brand new aircraft would take a decade. Too long. Instead, Boeing chose to do what Airbus had done, modify an existing model. Thus, the 737 MAX program was born. On paper, the MAX seemed like a straightforward upgrade. Engines, the larger, more efficient CFM LEAP 1B turbofans. Aerodynamics, refined winglets and improved flight systems. Commonality, pilots trained on older 737s could fly the MAX with minimal additional training, a major selling point. But there was a hidden problem. The new engines were much larger than the 737's original design could comfortably accommodate. Because the 737 sits low to the ground, Boeing had to mount the engines further forward and higher on the wing. This changed the aircraft's aerodynamics, causing a tendency to pitch upward during certain flight conditions. To counteract this, Boeing introduced a new software system, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. MCAS was designed to automatically push the nose of the aircraft down if it detected a stall risk. But crucially, it relied on data from just one angle of attack sensor. If that sensor failed, MCAS could repeatedly force the nose down, even when the aircraft was not stalling. Even more troubling, Boeing downplayed the system's significance. Airlines were told the MAX flew just like earlier 737s, requiring little to no additional pilot training. MCAS was barely mentioned in manuals. Many pilots didn't even know it existed. This decision, made to keep costs low and speed up sales, would have devastating consequences. On October 29, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 took off from Jakarta. Minutes into the flight, faulty sensor data triggered MCAS. The system repeatedly forced the nose down as the pilots fought to regain control. After a harrowing struggle, the aircraft plunged into the Java Sea, killing all 189 on board. Just months later, on March 10, 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 suffered a similar fate. By the way, if you enjoy content like this, subscribing will help me produce more, and it's completely free. Back to the video. Again, erroneous sensor input activated MCAS, pushing the aircraft into a fatal dive. All 157 passengers and crew were lost. 2 crashes, 346 lives, and one common link, the 737 MAX. The response was swift and unprecedented. Within days, regulators worldwide grounded the entire global fleet of 737 MAX aircraft. Airlines scrambled to adjust schedules, while Boeing's reputation collapsed almost overnight. For nearly 2 years, the MAX remained grounded as investigators uncovered a cascade of failures, design shortcuts, inadequate oversight, and a company culture that prioritized cost-cutting over safety. Boeing eventually spent billions redesigning MCAS, adding safeguards and retraining pilots. But the damage was already done. The MAX crisis cost Boeing more than $20 billion in direct expenses, including compensation to airlines, legal settlements, and production halts. But the indirect costs were even greater. The company's stock plummeted, orders dried up, and Airbus surged ahead, capturing a larger share of the single-aisle market with its A320neo. For many, the MAX symbolized a deeper problem within Boeing, a shift away from engineering excellence toward financial engineering. The Dreamliner's budget overruns had already strained the company, and the MAX was supposed to be a quick, affordable fix. Instead, it nearly destroyed the company's credibility. In late 2020, after extensive testing and modifications, regulators began clearing the MAX to return to service. Slowly, airlines brought the jet back into fleets. Today, thousands of flights operate safely on the MAX every week, and passengers often board without realizing they are on the infamous jet. Still, questions linger. Can Boeing ever fully regain the trust it lost? And has the pursuit of profit left lasting scars on one of the world's most storied aerospace companies? The 737 MAX will forever carry a shadow. It remains part of the most successful aircraft family in history, yet also a symbol of corporate miscalculation. The crashes expose flaws not just in design, but in Boeing's culture, its regulatory oversight, and the pressure to compete with Airbus at all costs. For some, the MAX represents a tragic lesson that safety must never be sacrificed for speed or savings. For Boeing, it is a reminder that decades of reputation can be destroyed in an instant. The Boeing 737 MAX was meant to be a triumph, the ultimate evolution of a proven design. Instead, it became a turning point in aviation history, where ambition, competition, and corporate decisions collided with devastating consequences. It is a jet that nearly destroyed Boeing, and its legacy will haunt the company and the industry for decades to come.